You remember who else was there that night?
Demi. And Tracy.
Oh my god. Let me just put that current story aside and let me tell you about that GSA night.
Oh god.
Okay.
Oh god, no,
So
oh
anyway,
god.
yeah, so...
You're making this really tough to edit, I'm just saying.
Anyway. So I remember it was like Noble and Zach and like Demi were there. And like I was hanging out with them mostly. While I was there at first. And you know who was always also there?
If you say Danny, I'm gonna lie.
No. No. But Tracy was there too.
I said Tracy.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Oh, well, sorry. Anyways.
But
I think Stokes was there too.
Wouldn't surprise me if Tracy was there.
Anyways. So, yeah, I was hanging out with mostly Noble and Demi before. And then, like, I was hanging out, and it was at the teen center. And I was hanging out in the sort of game room, you know, just to, like, have a, like, break. And in comes Rachel and
Sam.
And I think there was a third person. It was either Claudine or Caroline. Anyways, but, yeah, it was Sam and Rachel that walked in. And, like, I started, like, hyperventilating.
Aww.
And, like, this was, like, one, like, this is one, like, before, like, because before I had somewhat talked to her, you know, because, like, she was friends with a lot of my friends at the time. Because I was friends with a lot of Rachel's friends. And so we would somewhat talk before, but, like, we were never formally introduced.
Okay. And
then, yeah, so Rachel was the one who, like, you know, formally introduced us. And so, like, then I was hanging out with them, obviously, you know, for the rest of the night.
That's why Demi got pissed. I remember that.
Yeah. And so I was hanging out with them for the rest of the night. And, like, there was at one point where, like, Rachel brought up, so pretty much everyone here is bisexual. Like, and that's before I even knew she was. You know, it was just this, like, really big crush I had on her. I was like, oh, wait. But, so yeah, and then, like, because, like, I had seen her around, because the reason I thought she was just straight before was because I had seen her around with this one guy at school. And I asked her about it, like, are you still going out with, you know, so-and-so? And she's like, him? No, not at all. That was a long time ago. I was like, well, he kind of, and, like, to be perfectly honest, he's kind of, like, all up on you all the time. And she's like, well, yeah, he's just like that, even though, like, I'm not going to go back to him. He's just like that. I was like, oh, okay. No.
Score.
Yes. But, so I was like, oh, okay. And, yeah, the third person was Claudine. I remember now. Because afterwards, yeah, because I kind of, like, ignored Demi the rest of the night. And, like, when we saw each other again, like, our two little groups, she was like, hi, Blueberry. You having fun? It's like, yeah, I am. Thank you for asking. And
in her jealous, possessive tone.
Yeah.
Hi, Blueberry. You having fun?
Yeah, I am. Thanks for asking. Anyways. So,
yeah, this is going to be like a 3-part video.
Anyways, so we were sitting, like, in the main room of the teen center when you walk in. And, yeah, I was sitting there with Rachel. And, I forget exactly who asked who first, but somewhere along the lines of, like, I asked Rachel, like, oh, like, what are you guys doing the rest of the night? And she's like, oh, I guess we're going to go over to Claudine's house. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. And I was like, is Sam going to go?
Is Sam going to go?
She's like, yeah, I think so. She's like, why, like, do you want to come? I was like, well, if you insist.
Did you really say that?
Something along those lines. But that's probably what I said. And I was like, yeah, I'll come. And I'll just call home right now and, like, I'll ask him if it's okay. And obviously they said it was cool. And then like we walked outside, and like they're like I didn't know where they were from, probably from Agora or Tio, but they were like kids I didn't know. But there was like this whole mess of people outside who were like all smoking and drinking and whatnot.
In front of the teen center.
Yeah, in front of the teen center.
That's brilliant.
And we like walked over to one of them because I guess Claudine knew them, and I guess Rachel did too. And like they offered them smokes, and like that was before I was really like kind of more so getting over just being straight edge, you know? Because there was a time where like I was like strictly straight edge, but then at that point I was kind of like whatever about it, you know. And they give Sam a smoke, and I'm sitting there next to her, and like she's there commenting about like these tights she wore because she hadn't shaved her legs or something. So like she wore tights, so like she didn't have to. I don't know. And then she like offers me the cigarette, and I'm like, no, it's okay. It's alright. It's like, oh, okay. And anyway, so like later that night, we like drive over to Claudine's house, and like we're just hanging out there in like in her living room, watching TV. Like I'm sitting next to Rachel, Claudine's sitting next to Sam. I think that's how it was. Yeah, something like that. And so we were sitting there talking for a while, just hanging out, and then Claudine and Rachel like are tired enough that they want to go to bed. So like we didn't discuss like sleeping plans, like where everybody was gonna sleep, but like they just went off into the Claudine's room, and like it was me and Sam there for a while, and like we were kind of hungry, so like we went into her kitchen and like see what we could find, and I asked her about something like
This is a really, really
shut up.
really long story. And I know I've heard it before because it sounds so familiar.
Anyways, but like I asked her something, and like she misinterpreted the question and said something else, but like something about I don't even remember. I don't know, but it like whatever it was, like it made me see her differently, like not in a negative way, where like because like yeah, before like I hadn't known her at all. You know, this was the first night I was getting to know her, and it kind of made me think like, oh, like, you know, she's a lot more. There's a lot more depth to this girl than like on the outside, and at least that's what I remember thinking from whatever she said. And so like yeah, eventually we got tired enough, and the only room that was available was like the little side guest room, and I guess like process of elimination, we were gonna like share that room, and so like even though like we were tired, like it took us a while to fall asleep because we were just talking, and like we turned on the TV to see if that would help, and like we talked about like what was on and whatnot. But yeah, I would pretty for the most part we were just like talking and whatnot, and like eventually we came onto the subject of like girls and such, and we talked about that, and
Are we going to a new story now?
No, not a new story, but because like that guy that I had asked her about, who the one who was like always all over her, he started texting her that night, and like she was like for the most part trying to ignore him, and like it was so crazy because he actually came to Claudine's house. He like rang the doorbell, and then he was like outside the window knocking on the window.
What?
Outside of our room, and like, and it was just really scary. Like, but like eventually, they like went away because he was just like he was obviously like still not over her, and she was like done with him, and but yeah, so like eventually he left, and then like eventually like she was the one to fall asleep first, and like out of like me being like as nervous as I was, like obviously it took me a while to fall asleep. And like I was just sitting there like looking at her, and there was like this little strand of hair that was like on her face, and like I had the biggest temptation to just like go over and like
And did you?
No, I didn't. I was too scared because I was worried she would like wake up or something.